I'm Nathan Marshall, and today we're going to have a French picnic. The key to a good French picnic is just having a little bit of everything. You can see here we have some asparagus, which is really nice. We have a beautiful baguette here, sliced up and ready to go. We have this gorgeous olive tapenade, some roasted portobello mushrooms, some cheeses to try here, and some pears and apples. So it rounds out every part of the palette really nicely and produces a really great combination of flavors. But there's one thing that's missing. It wouldn't be a proper French picnic without some wines. Today what I wanted to do was choose some wines that will match up really well with the type of meal that we're having. So today we're talking about Vin de Pays wines, French country wines. Basically, these wines, although technically Vin de Pays no longer exists, you will still find it listed on bottles. What it is now is IGP, which has replaced that. So these wines sit between AC, the Appellation Contrôlée designation, which is higher than it, and the lower level Vin de France, which replaced Vin de Table. So these wines are really designed to be pretty good values. They have to follow less strict regulations than you get with some of the AC wines, so it allows them a lot of flexibility to do things how they want, and a lot of them can represent excellent values because a lot of them come in at a more reasonable price point than the AC or AOC labeled wines. So the first one I have for you today is the 2015 Domaine de Clairfont. This is a Vin de Pays de Vaucluse. This wine, I don't actually have a breakdown of the varietals on it, but it rolled in for $8.99 from Total Wine, which is a pretty reasonable price. So you can kind of see starting off already what kind of a price range we're talking about with most of these. And they're absolutely perfect with the picnic in most cases. And like I said, a lot of them are pretty good value, so I'm hoping that these deliver. So first of all, this is definitely a lighter in color. This has got to be a fair bit of, I assume, Grenache or something that's a thin-skinned grape varietal. There's some good cherry on the nose, a little plum, a little hint of some spice, a little earthiness. Well, let's give it a try. It definitely carries through with some more cherry on the nose, or on the palate. It also has some nice little tannins, kind of very fine, but very nice nonetheless. This is kind of like a really inexpensive, sort of like a Barolo almost kind of thing, in the sense that it's a much lighter bodied wine with a little bit of a tannic finish. Now there's a little bit of acidity to it. Yeah, I'll stand by that. If you like kind of lighter bodied reds that still have a little bit of tannins and a little bit of grip on them, this is actually a pretty decent value. And for $9, it's one of the better wines I've had. In fact, I don't know of the time recently, and I might be wrong on this, but I can't recall a time recently where I've had a really decent wine for that same price. So I think that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So let's move on to this one. This is the La Cuvée Mythique. This is $13.50, and for that was from Total Wine as well. And this one, I think I do have a breakdown on. This one is 34% Syrah, 30% Carignan, 24% Grenache Noir, and 12% Mourvèdre. And this is a, let's see, it said it on here somewhere earlier. Oh, it's a Vigneron de la Méditerranée. So it's kind of a little more general, but that's okay. It still looks really interesting. First off, definitely a deeper color, but you expect that with this. I assume, like I said, I don't really know what that one is. I'll post a blend when I post the video. That's nice. It has some like plum and blueberry. There's a hint of like anise, like licorice. A little bit of earthiness. It definitely seems very fruit forward over the nose. Actually, that's really nice. So that has a little earthiness on the palate as well. It has some kind of almost a little bit gamey on the palate that's really nice. It has a decent finish and a little bit of toast to it. That's actually a pretty solid wine. So for $13.50, I feel very comfortable with that. I wouldn't have a problem recommending that to anybody for that price point. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. There's a little blackberry in there too. So the final country wine to top off our French picnic here is the 2011 Faucon Cuvée Prestige. Now this is a blend of Cabernet and Syrah, and it actually happens to be organic. So it is 60% Cabernet, 40% Syrah, aged in oak, 6 months in oak barrels. And this one comes in at $11 and actually came from Whole Foods in this case. So first off, I think I'm right in saying, yeah, this one's even a little darker than the last one. Really nice coloring, actually. So this one's actually pretty funky on the nose. So if you like that kind of funky, there's a hint of some like country smells, like kind of a barnyardy sort of thing going on. There's a little bit of plum, a little bit of black currant, but nothing too crazy on the nose with that. It's definitely this like overwhelming barnyardy kind of thing. I really like that. It's very old world, traditional style, I should say. Yeah, so you definitely get a little bit of that coming through on the palate. You also get kind of like a little forest floor kind of thing, like a mossy kind of characteristic. And definitely get a hint of some bell pepper. I get some really strong black currant coming through. Maybe a hint of a little black pepper as well. Really nicely put together. Maybe there's a tiny hint of like some plum or something like that. But good finish, nice tannins. It has a little more grip, I think, than this last wine did. It's pretty well structured, and for $11, that's a really easy buy. If you like a traditional kind of old world style like I do, that's really easy to say yes to for $11. Definitely a winner there. So I hope that this has all been helpful for you guys, and that you see that you don't have to spend a ton of money in French wine to get something that's really interesting. And if you pair it with the right meal, it can be a lot of fun. So go out, enjoy some wine, and have a picnic. Let me know how it is. Till next time, cheers.